Story 1. The Airbnb Abode. As a seasoned traveler, I often opted for unique stays through Airbnb. So when I came across a listing for a quaint countryside cottage named the Enchanted Retreat, I couldn't resist the allure of a cozy, secluded getaway. It boasted rave reviews, and the photos showcased a charming, rustic charm that beckoned me to book it for a week-long respite. The Enchanted Retreat was nestled deep within a dense forest, surrounded by towering trees that seemed to whisper secrets among themselves. Upon arrival, I was greeted by a friendly host named Evelyn, who gave me a warm smile and handed me the key to the enchanting abode. With a sense of excitement and curiosity, I stepped through the creaky wooden door. The interior was indeed as enchanting as the name suggested, with antique furniture and flickering candles lending an otherworldly ambience. Evelyn had left a handwritten note inviting me to make myself at home and to contact her if I needed anything. She also mentioned that the cottage had an interesting history, but she preferred to share it in person. The first few nights at the Enchanted Retreat were magical, as I reveled in the tranquility and seclusion. But as the week wore on, strange occurrences began to unfold. The gentle rustling of leaves outside turned into eerie whispers that seemed to follow me inside the cottage. Shadows danced across the walls at odd hours, even when the candles were the only source of light. Nights were the most unsettling. I would lie awake feeling an inexplicable weight in the air, as if someone else was sharing the room with me. On one particularly restless night, I awoke to a chill that cut through the warmth of the blankets. The temperature had plummeted, and my breath appeared as ghostly puffs in the frigid air. Brushing it off as the oddities of an old building, I tried to convince myself that there was nothing paranormal about the Enchanted Retreat. But as each night passed, the strange occurrences escalated. Footsteps echoed from the attic and faint laughter echoed through the halls. One evening, I decided to take a long walk in the woods, hoping to clear my mind and shake off the uneasy feeling that had taken hold. As I ventured deeper into the forest, I stumbled upon a weathered gravestone with an epitaph that sent chills down my spine. Here lies Evelyn, loving wife and cherished host of the Enchanted Retreat. Dread filled my heart as I realized the implications of what I had found. Could the Evelyn who greeted me have been a ghost bound to the cottage by some tragic fate? I hurried back to the cottage, my mind racing with fear and uncertainty. The next morning, I confronted my host about the discovery. Evelyn's eyes welled up with tears as she revealed the truth. She was, in fact, a spirit of the original host who had tragically died in a fire that consumed the Enchanted Retreat many years ago. Unable to move on, she had remained tied to the place she once loved. In a desperate attempt to break the cycle of her haunting, I sought the help of a local paranormal expert, as well as a medium. Together, we conducted a seance to communicate with Evelyn's spirit and guide her towards peace. The atmosphere in the cottage grew heavy as we made contact with the other side. Through the medium, Evelyn spoke, her voice filled with sorrow and longing. She yearned to reunite with her lost husband, who she believed was waiting for her beyond the veil of death. As we offered her comfort and solace, the cottage's ambience seemed to change. The whispers and footsteps subsided, and a serene stillness settled upon the abode. Finally, Evelyn's spirit found the closure she had been seeking for centuries. With tearful gratitude, she bid farewell and vanished into the light, leaving the Enchanted Retreat forever. The cottage, now free of her restless spirit, felt different, warm and inviting, just as it had been in the photos. My stay at the Enchanted Retreat had turned into a hauntingly unforgettable experience. I left with a newfound appreciation for the thin veil that separated our world from the supernatural and a lingering sense of wonder at the mysteries that lie hidden in the shadows. As I journeyed back home, I couldn't help but think of Evelyn's enduring spirit and the profound impact her story had on me. The memories of my stay at the Enchanted Retreat will forever remind me that some mysteries are best left unsolved, and that there is more to the world than what meets the eye. Story 2. Room 13. I have always been fascinated by the mysterious and the unknown. So when I stumbled upon an Airbnb listing for an old Victorian mansion with a reputation for being haunted, I knew I had to experience it for myself. The property was named the Moonlight Manor, and it boasted a long and dark history that had piqued the curiosity of many daring travelers before me. The Moonlight Manor was perched atop a hill, overlooking a sleepy town shrouded in fog. As I approached the grandiose building, I was captivated by its Gothic architecture and the eerie aura that surrounded it. The host, Mr. Blackwood, greeted me warmly, though there was a glimmer of trepidation in his eyes as he handed me the key to room 13. "Be cautious, for room 13 has a past of its own," Mr. Blackwood warned in a hushed voice. "Some say it's cursed, while others claim to have encountered restless spirits within its walls." As I entered the room, a chill ran down my spine. The air felt heavy, as if 1,000 eyes were watching my every move. I brushed off my unease, attributing it to the old building's charm. The room itself was beautifully furnished, adorned with antique trinkets and velvet curtains that exuded an old-world charm. The first night passed without incident, but as the clock struck midnight on the second night, strange things began to unfold. Soft whispers seemed to drift from the corners of the room, and the temperature plummeted despite the warm blankets and crackling fireplace. My heart pounded in my chest as I struggled to dismiss the bizarre occurrences as mere figments of my imagination. The following day, I ventured into the town to inquire about the history of the Moonlight Manor in room 13. Local residents exchanged knowing glances, as if they were all too familiar with the haunted tales surrounding the mansion. An elderly woman finally agreed to share the secrets of the place. She recounted a tragic love story that had unfolded within the mansion's walls centuries ago. A young woman named Isabel had fallen deeply in love with a dashing stranger, but their love was forbidden by her overbearing parents. In desperation, Isabel and her lover planned to elope, but their plan was thwarted, leading to a deadly confrontation. Isabel's parents, consumed by rage and fear of scandal, locked her in room 13 and forbade her from ever seeing her lover again. Heartbroken and trapped, Isabel's spirit never found peace, and her restless ghost haunted the room ever since, searching for her lost love. The revelation sent shivers down my spine, and I couldn't shake the feeling that Isabel's presence lingered in room 13. Determined to unravel the mystery and perhaps offer solace to the tormented spirit, I delved deeper into the history of the mansion. However, each investigation seemed to fuel the paranormal activity, and the hauntings became more intense. Objects inexplicably moved on their own, doors slammed shut with great force, and a mournful wailing echoed through the corridors at night. My dreams were plagued with visions of Isabel's sorrowful face haunting me even in my sleep. As the days turned into nights, I found myself becoming increasingly entwined with the ghostly presence of Isabel. It was as if she had chosen me to be the conduit for her pain and longing. The line between reality and the supernatural blurred, and I feared that I was losing myself to the dark history of the Moonlight Manor. In a desperate attempt to find peace for both Isabel and myself, I sought the guidance of a renowned paranormal expert. Together, we performed a cleansing ritual to help Isabel cross over to the afterlife. As we conducted the ceremony, the air crackled with energy, and the room seemed to come alive with a force beyond comprehension. In the final moments of the ritual, I felt a weight lifted from my shoulders, and the room grew still. Isabel's spirit appeared before us, her ethereal form glowing with a serene light. With tears in her eyes, she thanked me for freeing her from the shackles of her tragic past. As Isabel's spirit faded into the light, I felt a profound sense of relief and closure. The haunting ceased, and the Moonlight Manor felt less ominous than before, my heart heavy with the weight of the unforgettable experience. I bid farewell to room 13 in the Moonlight Manor, forever changed by the encounter with the supernatural. The memory of that eerie and unforgettable stay will forever serve as a reminder of the thin veil between the living and the dead, and of the haunting secrets that can lie hidden within the walls of an old haunted Airbnb. Story 3. The Haunting of Bryson House. I've always been an adventurous traveler, seeking out unique and offbeat places to stay during my trips. So when I stumbled upon the historic Bryson House on Airbnb, I couldn't resist booking it for a weekend getaway. Located on the outskirts of a small, picturesque town, The 19th century mansion boasted an intriguing history that intrigued me. Little did I know that this decision would lead me into the heart of a chilling and hair-raising tale. As I pulled up to the property, the sight of Bryson House sent shivers down my spine. The once grand mansion stood eerily abandoned, with ivy crawling up its decaying walls and windows covered in thick layers of dust. Ignoring the uneasy feeling in my gut, I approached the front door, the wooden boards creaking under my weight. The owner had mentioned in the listing that the house was in the process of restoration, which explained its slightly dilapidated state. Upon entering, a mix of excitement and trepidation washed over me. The interior was dimly lit and an oppressive silence enveloped the house. I set my belongings down in the parlor and decided to explore the rooms, eager to uncover the secrets the old mansion held. The first night passed without incident, but as the second evening descended, peculiar events began to unfold. I awoke to the sound of footsteps echoing through the halls, even though I knew I was the only guest. Nervously, I called out, but the house remained silent. The shadows danced on the walls as I tried to convince myself it was my imagination. The following day, while roaming the grounds, I met a local who shared chilling stories about Bryson House. The mansion, it seemed, was not just abandoned, it was haunted. Legend had it that a family once resided within its walls, but they met a tragic end. Some claimed to have heard the anguished cries of a mother, mourning the loss of her children. Others said they had seen a pale, ghostly figure staring out from one of the upstairs windows. Despite the warnings, I couldn't resist delving further into the mysteries of Bryson House. My nights were plagued with unsettling nightmares, and the apparitions of flickering lights became more frequent. The once charming and historical setting now felt ominous and suffocating. One stormy night, as rain pounded on the roof and lightning illuminated the darkened corridors, I heard a mournful wailing coming from the depths of the mansion. Fear gnawed at me, but my curiosity pushed me forward. Following the sound, I found myself in a hidden chamber that seemed untouched by time. In the center of the room lay an old, weathered journal. I cautiously opened it, and my eyes widened as I read the horrifying tale of the family who had lived in Bryson House centuries ago. They had been victims of a malevolent force that tormented them until they met their untimely end. The journal spoke of dark rituals and unspeakable acts carried out within the very walls I stood in. As I reached the final pages, the room grew icy cold. A spectral figure appeared before me, her ethereal form exuding sadness and despair. She was the grieving mother, doomed to wander the halls for eternity, seeking her lost children. Terror stricken, I fled the room and sought refuge in the parlor, hoping the living room's warmth would dispel the ghostly chill. But the house was determined to reveal its secrets, and the apparitions grew bolder and more malevolent with each passing night. Haunted by my findings, I researched the mansion's history further, uncovering accounts of unexplained deaths and strange occurrences associated with Bryson House. The sinister presence that permeated the air clung to me, and I became consumed by a growing sense of dread. With every intention of leaving, I found myself inexplicably drawn back to Bryson House. The spirits seemed to feed off my fear, and their manifestations intensified. The line between reality and the paranormal blurred, leaving me on the brink of madness. My pleas to Airbnb for a refund went unanswered, and I realized I was trapped in a nightmare of my own making. Determined to free myself from the malevolent grip of the house, I sought the help of local paranormal investigators. They confirmed the presence of restless spirits and conducted cleansing ritual to restore peace to the mansion. As they performed their incantations, the atmosphere grew charged, and a powerful force seemed to push against us. But slowly, the presence began to recede, and the haunting ceased. With the spirits finally at rest, I bid farewell to Bryson House, grateful to leave its dark past behind. Though I returned to my ordinary life, I couldn't shake the memories of my terrifying ordeal. The horrors I'd encountered within the walls of Bryson House would forever haunt my dreams. A stark reminder of the thin veil that separates the living from the dead, and the terrifying power of the supernatural.